Hi, we're Ariel,
And Michelle,
and
and
we're
we're
the
the board
Board
game
Game
tutors.
Tutors. Today, we're going to be showing you our Advanced Concepts video for the board game Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small. In this video, we're specifically going to be going over how endgame scoring works in this game. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right. So here is the aftermath of a game of Agricola.
We used up all the pigs, and there are 2 sheep left, a few cows, 2 horses, and yeah, there's a lot of things are missing now. Almost all the special buildings are gone. So
Yeah, we both bought a lot of different things, or got a lot of different things this time.
So this is my board here, and you can see here the reason I have such a abundance of cows on this area. I actually have 10 cows in total. Is the fact that this is actually an open stable building. It can normally have 5 animals on it total, and as you can see on the top corner here, there's a feeding trough right there. So as we explained before, feeding troughs act as multipliers of 2. So it doesn't matter if they're on open farm spaces that are, well, not open farm spaces, but green farm spaces that are enclosed, or on building spaces. Feeding troughs always multiply the amount of animals that space or spaces can hold. So, since this building normally has a space for 5 animals, adding a feeding trough to it makes it have space for 10 animals. So that's why you were wondering why I had so many animals in one spot. That's how it's a legal move to do so.
We managed to stack those cows there, so.
And obviously I'm showing sheep favoritism on my board because all of my sheep, they get one space all by themselves. So I don't treat my cows very nicely, or my pigs for that matter, except that one pig. I like him. And then my sheep's over here. They're all by themselves. So that's what my board looks like.
And then here's my board. So I focused more on horses and getting lots of sheep. And I have a few pigs.
Right. And also, you can see here, that's Michelle making use of the fact that a feeding trough by itself can sustain one animal by itself, even if it doesn't have fence around it.
Basically, the pig will stay there so it can eat.
Yep, which is fitting. So how do you go about scoring this glorious match of farmerhoodness?
So here's the scoring pad. You can see we've played this several times. But on the far right, we have our current game. And so on the far left, you can see the different animals. It shows the pictures of sheep, pigs, cows, and horses, and then a sum symbol. So basically, we're going to add up everything that we get points for. So over here on the far right, we can see that Ariel had 6 sheep. So we wrote a 6 in the sheep space.
I had 13 pigs. I had 10 cows. And I had no horses.
So that was a total of 29 animals. And you get a point for each animal that you have.
Right.
And then for my column, I had 13 sheep, 3 pigs, 0 cows, and 12 horses. So that added up to 28 animals. So we almost had the exact same number of animals.
Right. So the next area here.
So now we're looking at the bonus points that you get based on the number of each type of animal that you have. So for me, for Ariel first, having 6 sheep, that comes out to a bonus of 0.
Oh, and obviously we want to show you the side of the board here, because in the rule book, yeah, that's right, the side of the box. Anyway, so this is on all 4 sides of the bottom half of the box, and you can see here, based on how many of each type of animal that you have, you get bonus points. So if you ever have 0 to 3 of any type of animal, it's going to give you -3 points at the end of the game. So as much as possible, you want to make sure to avoid that possibility.
Yes, you want to try to have at least 4 of every type of animal, but that's not always going to work out. Like in this game, neither of us had every type of animal, or at least, neither of us had every type of animal.
And then here, as you can see, if you have, for sheep, if you have 4, 5, 6, or 7 sheep, you get no points because it's basically in this little no man's land in the middle where you get no points for that.
Yeah, so in the bonus section, you would just put 0 for that.
Here for the pigs, it's 4, 5s, and 6s. That's the no man's land where you don't get any bonus points. For cows, that's 4 and 5, so it's a lot smaller there. And then lastly, the horses. If you just have 4 horses, that's the only number that falls into no man's land, and you only get 0 bonus points for that.
Right. So looking at our scoring chart, Ariel had 6 sheep. That's it. That falls in the area where you get no bonus points, so you just get 0. And then for pigs, he had 13. So we can see here on the chart, having 13 pigs, he actually gets 5 bonus points. So we wrote that in the appropriate spot. And then for the cows, he had 10 cows. So that gives him 3 bonus points. So we wrote that down. Finally, he didn't have any horses, so that will be -3 points.
And also, something else that would be important. Let's say, so here it stops after 16. If you have 16 sheep, for example, you get 6 bonus points, but it has ... and ... for the bonus points. So something very important about how to score anything above 16 for sheep. If you have 17 sheep, it would be 1 more than 6 points. So it would be 7 bonus points. If you had 18 sheep, so that would be 1, 2, then you would get 8 bonus points, etc.
Yes, you just count up appropriately if you have more than what it shows on the chart.
So yeah, that's that. All right, okay. So for Michelle's.
So I had 13 sheep. That means I get a bonus of 3 points for the sheep. I had 3 pigs, so that actually gives me -3 in the so-called bonus section. And then for cows, I didn't have any, so again, I had -3 points for the bonus. And finally, for horses, I had 12. So that gave me 6 bonus points, which basically canceled out those 2 -3s that I had.
Right. So that was that.
Okay, so going back to the score sheet here. So you can see we wrote down all those numbers that we just told you. So we summed up, we took, like in Ariel's column, we took the original 29 points he had for all the animals, and then we added on all the points we just went over for the bonuses. So he had 34 by the end of that. And then for me, I had 28 animals. Then we accounted for all the bonuses, so I had 31 total points at that point. So then there are a couple more things that you check for. Over on the left, you can see you get 4 victory points if you completed an expansion to your farm. So Ariel actually had 2 of those. We can see her here on his board. He added an expansion on the right side and an expansion on the left side, and he built on each of those spaces. So that means you have to have an enclosure, basically part of an enclosure that's completed, or a building, or a feeding trough in every space.
So you don't necessarily have to have animals there, but it has to be a completed enclosure, which is what I have right here. So these 2 spaces are a complete enclosure because I have walls here, 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 and here. And I also have 1 building taking up this space. So all 3 of these expansion spaces are taken. And then over here, this is the same, almost the same thing. I have walls surrounding the majority of it. So I have walls here, 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 here. And this has a wall here from my cottage. There's a wall here that I constructed, and that's a wall from that building. So that's those are all completely self-contained. And so both of those gave me 4 each. So I would get 8 bonus points for having 2 fully utilized or fully used expansions for my farm.
Right. So the way it wouldn't work is if a space wasn't completed, like there weren't fences all around.
Or like this, if I didn't have this storage building right here, that would mean well, one, that wouldn't be complete because I would need a fence there for that to be a fully enclosed area, and I didn't take use of the space.
Right. So even if there was a wall here, that if there was a wall here but not walls here, then this space wouldn't be enclosed, so it wouldn't be considered to be complete.
Right. So you have to utilize all 3 spaces. And as you'll see over on Michelle's tiles, over there, she has 1 expansion, which is right here. And she makes full use of this space because, as you can see, she has 1 completely enclosed area with the 4 horses. And right here, she has 1 feeding trough there. So she fully utilized this expansion, therefore she gets the extra bonus points for 1 tile, which is 4.
Yeah, for 1 expansion I got 4, and Ariel had 2 completed expansions, so he had 8. And then lastly, we account for the points that we got from buildings. So looking at Ariel's board, how many buildings did you have?
So I have a shelter here that gave me nothing. I have open stables, which I believe give me 2, but my cows are covering it.
I can see the 2, yeah.
So that gave me 2 bonus points. And then I also have a storage building, which... Can you go ahead and figure that out for me?
Yeah, so there's an asterisk in the circle that tells you victory points. And then below there's an asterisk and it says a half victory point per your own building material. So this is a unique building. When you have the storage building, you look and see what you have left over at the end of the game. So there, Ariel had 2 pieces of wood and 1 piece of reed. So you times that by a half and you find that you got 1.5 bonus point or building points. Victory points for that storage building because he had some material to store in it, basically.
So you take that 1.5 points, add it to the 2 points that I have from my open stables, and now I would have 3.5 points. Okay, so let's go to Michelle's board.
Okay. So let's see. I had my original cottage I replaced actually with a half timbered house. You can see here where the pigs are.
5 points.
So that gave me 5 victory points. And then over here,
it's a stall, I believe.
Yes, it's a stall, so I didn't convert to a stable. My sheep are falling out of it, but I got 1. Yeah, I got 1 victory point for that building. So I got a total of 6 victory points from my buildings.
And so now you take all of the areas here and you add them all together and you get your final score for both of us.
Okay, so Ariel got 45.5 points and I got 41. So those are pretty high scores for us, actually.
So that's how you go about doing end game scoring for the board game Agricola, all creatures big and small.
We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments or clarifications, feel free to let us know in the comments, or you can send us an email. And if you enjoyed this video and are interested in getting more content from us, you can subscribe to our channel, The Board Game Tutors, on YouTube, and you can also find us on BoardGameGeek.com.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye, everybody.